Well, good morning, friends. It's Tracy from Tea Time with Tracy and friends. Violet, oh my goodness, Violet is my dog in spirit. Magda and Boris are here beside me, and I want to do my July TBR. I don't want it to be too long because I tend to yammer on, but I played deck of TBR. I got this game from Bekah from Bekah Books and Bujo, and she's a phenomenal lady. I'll have all her deets down below. And yeah, I plan on taking part in a few readathons in July too. So I have a spreadsheet here of potential books depending on the prompts I get. I haven't solidified what books I'm going to put into this readathon, but these are ones that I would like to put into the readathons that I'm doing. I'm going to do the deck of TBR readathon, which is 5 prompts. It's similar to this game. The mermaid readathon. Okay, deck of TBR-a-thon is by Bekah Books and Bujo and Chloe from Always Booked, I think. And the mermaid readathon is The Bright Side Girl. And Summerween is from Gabby Reads. And the Australian readathon. Oh, I forget. I know who they are, but I'll put all their details down below. But I'm not gonna talk about those TBRs today. I just want to say I'm going to be incorporating books that I are hopeful for that. So anyways, I also have a list of books that I read this month. I'm not going to get into them. Okay, the books that I read from our June TBR game. This is not including the books that are in the readathon I'm taking part in this month, which is the Camp Season-a-thon. Because I read other books besides these. I'm not going to get into them, but I read They Thirst by Robert McCammon. The Summer of Night by Dan Simmons. This was a reread. Tempted by Deception. It's the 3rd book in a trilogy. So I finished another series this year. So that's very exciting. Own Me by K.A. Tucker, and I finished another series this year. That was the book 4 in the Wolf's Hotel series. Very exciting. I'm not done Desire in His Blood by Zoe Draven, but today is the 23rd, so I just have so many readathons coming up that I want to try to plan my monthly reading accordingly. So I have enough time to finish that book. I'm reading that on my Kindle. Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. Quantum Physics Made Me Do It by Jeremy Harris. That was a nonfiction. What Lies Between Us by John Mars. And Cold Hard Canyon by Clive Barker. I think that's everything that was on our TBR game last month. But there. So another readathon I plan on taking. It's a year-long readathon. It's put on by Qwordy. It's the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do, and I'm very excited about that. I have a whole year to complete it, but that'll be in a separate video. So I have a spreadsheet of that, and that's 151 books of potential reads that I'd pick from. Majority of them being in my audio library. I have over 700 books in my audio library, so I'm going to be incorporating the majority of those to fulfill that reading thing. So I might have more audiobooks this month. I don't know. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Okay, so basically I shuffle this deck of cards. There is one odd card in there, which represents a joker. I still haven't got a new deck of cards. But the corresponding card, say a 2 of Hearts, 2 of Hearts, light cover, I take that off and try to find a book with a light cover to match it. Then I put a new prompt. By the way, that's another thing. Try to put a new prompt. I had this little honey pot. These are new prompts to put on the board. but I don't have enough room to shift my hand in there. So I got a bigger honey pot. So I'm gonna put, I'll do that right now. I like to have room. So I haven't used any of these, well, I don't think. This is my 3rd time playing this game, or 4th time playing this game. I have been putting prompts back into this jar. Well, it used to be a bag. But last month I did not. I kept them out because I want to try to use at least 75% of these prompts before I start reusing old prompts. So I'm going to use my small honey pot to put the used prompts in. And excellent. So that has a nice little lid. Oh, I do have the ones from last month. This has a nice little lid. Where did I put it? It's behind my water bottle. Excellent. So the ones from last month were Scientist. That's the one, the Jeremy Harris Quantum Physics Made Me Do It, nonfiction. A sequel that was the Deception one with Rena Kent. Animal on the cover. I read Pig Island. I forget if I said that. Pig Island by Mo Hader. Had pig on the cover. A colorful cover. That was the Karen Slaughter Pretty Girls. And Alien. That's the Zoe Draven one. It's an alien smut romance. And then I did a couple of spinner wheels for my nonfiction and etc. All right, let me move this stuff out of the way, and I will bring it back for when we need it. Okay, usually I do like 10 draws, but since I'm taking part, I might still do it. I think I'm going to go over the top and pick way more books than I can actually read, but maybe not, depending. I want to try and use my spinner wheels. I finally figured out how to do the screenshot recording again. So I made a new wheel too for the hardest reading challenge I'll ever do. It has a whole bunch of prompts that have prompts. So I might spin that once each TBR so I can focus on that specific prompt if I get time to do that. I don't know. 9 of Hearts. So Hearts 9. Nonfiction. Okay. I have a wheel for that. Okay. I think I have it set up. So you should be able to see the nonfiction wheel. Okay, now you should be able to see the nonfiction wheel. I have acquired a couple more nonfiction books via my audio library in the past couple of weeks, but I haven't updated my wheel, but this is the majority of the nonfiction ones that I have. So we'll just spin it to win it. Let's see what I get. Could be anything at all. Don't Say by Michael Chad Hospner. That's a recent one. Just a minute, I'll get the book. All right, this book, it says, Don't Say Here's a picture of it. How to Communicate Effectively to Live a Better Life. Michael Chad has coached presidential candidates, prominent CEOs, and Ivy League deans on their communication skills. Now he shares his wide-ranging knowledge in Don't Say It's probably just to spice up your language, I guess. Make it sound a little more mature. I don't know. It was like a real cheap on Audible. And it's 8 hours and 55 minutes. It's a pretty long book for a nonfiction about Don't Say But I bought it because I can't help myself. And I want to learn how to speak more effectively, I guess. No, he's coming back up, Magda. Boris just went downstairs, so she's being a crybaby. So I'm going to put nonfiction in there. And I have my big crock. Big crack. This way, see, I can move it around much better than I could in that little one. Much better, much better. Oh, it's stuck together, I don't want to look. Continue a series, that's always a good one. That's always a good one. I always have some series that I need to continue with. Okay. So 9 of hearts, I wrote it down. If I get 3, I think what Bekah does, if she gets 3 of the same suit, but that's more than likely going to happen if I pick 10. She doesn't generally pick 10, I don't think. So I'm going to go if I get 3 of the same number. Doesn't have to be the same suit, but 3 of the same number. So I put that back in the deck because there's a new prompt on there. One more. All right. Oh, that's 2 9s. 9 of spades. So spades, 9. 10 years or older, that's not difficult for me. So that's 2 9s. Spades. 9 of spades. 10 years or older. I'm going to check on one of my Readathons to see if I can use one of those books. I'm sure I can. All right, I was looking through my spreadsheet and I picked this one. I have a whole bunch I can pick from, but this one was put out in 2011. Let me just see. 2014. So I do have many more older books, but this is one of the books on one of my things on that challenge. It's on the... Yes. So I picked this one. It's short. It's from 2014. I do have many older books than this, but this is on my by the hundreds. So this has between 200 and 300 pages. It has 214 pages. The prompt for that readathon is like you start at 100, it goes to 700 plus. So the first level would be from 100 to 199. The second level is from 200 to 299, and on and on. So this will knock one off my list. This is the first in a series. I have some of the books in the series, not the whole series. It's by Pepper Winters. Yeah, I got this book so long ago. This is about Nyla Weaver, and her family is indebted. Being the firstborn daughter, her life is forfeited to the firstborn son of the Hawks to pay for sins of an ancestral past. The Dark Ages might have come and gone, but debt never leaves, and she has no choice in the matter. Jethro Hawk receives Nyla as an inheritance present on his 29th birthday. Her life is his until she's paid off a debt that's centuries old. He can do with her what he likes. Nothing is out of bounds. She has to obey. I don't know. I got this because people said it was very dark and twisted. And I'm not so interested in it now. When I bought it, I was. But I mean, I have it. I'm going to read it. I might really like it. I don't know. It's not very long though, but I think there's 4 or 5 books in this series. And I think I have 3 of them. I'm not sure. I might be wrong with how many are in the series. I don't know. But that will be my second book. Okay. So did I take that off? No, I didn't. For goodness sakes. Don't do it. Don't do it. Putting this in the honey pot. crock here. Miscellaneous. Oh, I have an audio file for miscellaneous. That's what it's from. I have a whole bunch of files in my Audible account. Different genres, different authors, different. I have a miscellaneous one where I don't know where to put the books. So I'd have to pick one out of there if I get it. I was like, miscellaneous, what is that? Is that a free pick? It kind of is, but it's out of that. Or if I have a book on my bookshelf that I don't know how to categorize it, I could pick that. So I'm putting this back in. If I get another 9, we're doing 11 pulls. Oh God, that one just popped right out. Is that a sign? Kind of, but... It's a sign if I pull the Queen of Clubs out again. Like, that's the one that popped out. Is anybody with me? Okay, one more shuffle. Let's see. Nope. 10 of diamonds. So 10 is down here. Set in the 80s. Oh, nice. Okay. This took me a little while. Like, I know I have a million old novels on the bookshelf behind me. Like, I have a bunch of Layman and well, just a whole bunch. Tim Levin, Anne Rice. I have a whole bunch over there, but I'm trying to do this, so I'm gonna do Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton. I have it on audio. I don't have a physical copy of this book, but one of the hardest reading challenge is Animal Friends. So I'm picking this for zoo animal. I know dinosaurs are no longer here. I don't have any other zoo books that I'm aware of. Jurassic Park was supposed to be somewhat of a zoo, so I'm making it work for me. And I just looked on Google. I did this with a few books. I'm like, what time period is this book in? What time period is this book in? What time period is Jurassic Park in? Mainly takes place in the 1980s. So I'm gonna do Jurassic Park, which will be interesting. I've never read Michael Crichton. I hear this is a phenomenal book. I've just never read that. So here's a picture, or it might be up already, but I'm assuming most of you know what Jurassic Park is, but it's about this island off in Costa Rica, or off the coast of Costa Rica, that there was genetic altering going to try to bring back the dinosaur, and it was going to be a big, marvelous, successful tourist attraction thing. Everything hunky-dory, but things go sideways because what could go wrong, right? And these researchers, they were asked to come here to see this new facility. Have no idea if it's like the movie. I don't know if it's like the movie. Go to this place to see what kind of science work that they're doing there, and are blown away by these miraculous dinosaurs. But one night, I think, systems fail and dinosaurs get loose and all hell breaks loose, and yeah, it doesn't go according to plan. If it's like the movie, I don't know. But Jurassic Park, 1980s. So, there. So I had a 10 of diamonds. I'll put this back in the honey pot. I gotta remember, that's book 3. God. Concept of fate. So fated mates on a mission, like you were born to do this, etc., etc. So this will go back in. I'm just going to put, that was the nonfiction indebted Jurassic Park. So that's 3. Well, it's exam week here for a couple of my kids. School is almost out. Well, by the time this is posted, if I get a chance to editing it shortly. They get done the end of June, pretty much. All right. 5 of spades. 5 of spades. Dark cover. Thinking we might have had that before, maybe. Before, when I was not putting them separate. But that's okay. Dark cover. I can do dark cover. All right, dark cover. There's a bit of red and white on here, but for the most part it's black. This is Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, who is a pen name for somebody else. I can't remember who it is. Anyways, I read the prequel to this, Rolling in the Deep, I think. It's about killer mermaids, pretty much. The first book was about a science ship going out with a TV crew to prove that there's mermaids. And they brought out stunt mermaids, pretend mermaids to swim around so they could get this footage. The scientists, unbeknownst, like they were not aware that the TV crew brought these fake mermaids to do this. And they're aghast. You can't do this. This is a real science ship. You can't do this. Anyways, the mermaids get in the water and things go crazy. Turns out, you know, there's killer mermaid sort of creatures. It was really good. I enjoyed it. It was really a prequel. It wasn't very long, so I went and got the actual big book. The next book, it's just these two, and this can go for my mermaid readathon too, because one of the prompts for that was a mermaid on the cover. Oh, just a second. Meg was down there acting up. Anyways, I really want to read this. This is for one of the other challenges too, for this hardest reading challenge and for the mermaid challenge. And yeah, it looks big, but the writing's pretty big and stuff. And I bought the secondhand. It's a little warped, but I like that. It makes it feel like it's been loved and read and taken care of with love. So yeah, I'm excited about that because I've had this book for a little while, not super long. I bought it late last year, I think. I don't know, but yeah, that one. So that's good. So I'll put dark cover in here. I have 4 now. What are you doing there? Sit up straight. You drinking or something? And put that 5 back in the deck. I'm just going to get something out of this. I'm not looking. I'm not looking. I'm not looking. Bleak. I do like myself a nice bleak story. What was that? 5. We'll see how this goes. All right, 2 of Hearts. A light cover. That's funny because I use that as an example. Nope. No, ma'am. All right, I picked The Shelters of Stone. This is the 5th book in the Earth's Children series by Jean M. All. The Clan of the Cave Bear series. I've been working my way through it. I'll just have 1 more book left to read. I do have this incorporated on one of these reading challenges. They're big books. I can get the audio, excuse me, the audio on Everand though. So I might do immersive or I might just listen to audio. I don't know. But I'm excited because this follows Ayla and Jondalar. The first book is Ayla as a child, oh, excuse me, who was rescued by another clan. This is prehistoric mammoths, you know, cave lions and etc. Anyways, she's rescued by this other clan that's not quite as evolved as she is and raises her. She has a foster adoptive mother who is a medicine woman. Anyways, the second book, she is out on her own. She's still a young teenager, but half grown by that time in that era. Anyways, can't really say what this is. It's a giant world with a whole bunch of scenarios and clans and traveling and adventure. And Ayla has a pet, or a horse, where nobody's ever seen a tame horse before, and she can ride the horse. And she has a pet, I say pet, but it's her baby's wolf that she saved and raised as a cub. And it's just, it's an incredible series. It really is. But this is a very light cover. There's many different versions of the cover, but this is the one I have, and I would consider this light. You see the mountain here. That looks like wolf. And yeah, so I'm excited about this because I'll be closer to being done. This was my mother's favorite book series, and me and my sister are reading it together. And not that I want to read it to, oh, I just want to get it done. It's not that at all. I'm so invested into the series now. I really want to get into it. Let's get into it. So I'll put that in there. 5. Put this back in here. A self-help. I have quite a few of those. I like buying those. If a book can help me, well, why not? Oh, I just had a little mix-up because I was starting to look for a book for self-help, but I didn't pull that out. I just pulled that out to put on the board. So, had one picked out and everything. Idiot. All right. Did you take her out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Should I bring her back up?
You can if you're coming up.
Yeah.
She won't want to be down there by herself.
Come on. Come on. Come on. You only have to do one.
I kind of nudge her a little bit.
Well, she's very scared again.
I know. She'll get used to the steps. Magda doesn't know how to use steps yet. 7 of spades. All right. Spades, 7. Supernatural. All right. All right. All right. I picked Fires of Eden by Dan Simmons. I read The Summer of Night this month. That was a reread for me, like I said. That's kind of supernatural horror. I think this is going to be, he's a horror / sci-fi writer. And this is the only, I haven't read this book. This is in the Seasons of Horror series. There's, you don't have to read them in order, I don't believe, but Summer of Night you would read first because all the characters have their own kind of books, but it doesn't relate back to the original story that I recall. Anyways, this takes place in Hawaii or something like that. This guy has a resort. I just recently got this book this year. I had to pay a pretty penny for it too. I couldn't find it anywhere. You can't buy it new. You can't get it on Audible. You can't get it on Kindle. You got to buy it used. Anyways, he is hemorrhaging money and he's having a hard time. So there's these investors, I think they're Chinese investors, coming over to stay. He's going to wine and dine them to see if they'll invest in this resort and maybe sell it or whatever. And things start to go crazy. They're close to a volcano, I believe. People start going missing. This also follows a couple of other characters that are there on that island for their own personal reasons. I'm not sure, but I think there's monsters. I think there's an element of supernatural here. Yeah, I don't really know a lot about it. Summer of Night's kind of supernatural. The Children of the Night is more vampire-y, and Winter Haunting is more like haunted house story. So I don't know exactly what this is going to be. Like real estate mogul. Yeah. Giant beasts capable of human speech are spotted. Visitors turn up dead and dismembered, and volcanic eruptions fill the sky with smoke and flame as fast-moving lava flows dangerously close to the resort. Trumbo refuses to allow these minor inconveniences to impede his sales pitch to the Japanese. What an idiot. But anyways, this one, I think it's supernatural-ish. I believe. I don't know, but I won't know till I read it. Okay. This can go in the honey pot. And that was 7 of Spades. Physical jar. So I do have that big mushroom jar downstairs. I've read a lot of those books in that jar that would have to be filtered out. But I'm putting this back in the thing. Do you want to get by, Boris? Is that what you're doing? Do you want to get by? One more. Jack. Random number generator for a shelf. Now that's going to be tricky because I've read most of my priority reads. Just a minute. Okay, what I'm going to do, I have my tracker that's on the website that Stephanie from Qwordy has, like all the prompts and everything, but I made my own personal spreadsheet because I just did. Anyways, it's nothing fancy at all. It's pretty much the title. Magda, that's her pushing it. The title, the author, well, it looks like I have some mixed up. I need to switch that. But you guys are looking at it, so I'm going to see how many are at the bottom. Like some of the spots aren't filled in, so if that happens, no, went too far. So 136. We're going to do a random number generator. Oops. Hopefully you guys can still see this. 136. Generate. 44. Okay. Let's go down to 44. The Little Prince. That's going to be for the translated works prompt for the hardest reading challenge. That was one of the categories. You have to read 5 translated works. The Little Prince was first published in French. It's that childhood. I don't have the actual book. I'll either get it on Kindle or audio. I should have the book, but I don't think I do. I remember the movie, watching it when I was a child several times, and it was live action, like it was an actual little boy on this big planet going to different planets or something. I'm not sure. It's a child's book, but it's a classic, I would believe. I believe it was published in 1943. It's 92 pages, The Little Prince, and the author is Anton de Saint-Exupéry. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Okay, well that's pretty cool. I was not expecting to read a child's book this month, but that's okay. That'll knock one of the categories off my list. So if I get that prompt again, that's what I'm going to do. It's not going to be a shelf. It's going to be a spreadsheet. So, okay, so I don't have to put anything back on the board because it's one of these. I will put this back in. That's 7 books. One more. Oh, it's not one more. That's the third 9. Oh, 9 of clubs. A mafia. Okay, so that's 3. I gotta pick an 11th book. 9. Mafia. Okay. All right. All right. I got The Enigma by Jodi Ellen Melpez. It's 508 pages, published in 2021. This is on my summer TBR. I picked 10 books for my summer TBR. And this is the second book in the Unlawful Men series. I read The Brit, which is the first book in this series a few years ago. And I have some other books in this series too, but I believe it's Mafia. And a fatal blend of revenge and desire. After leaving her fiance at the altar and quitting her job as a Miami cop, Bo Haley stumbles through life feeling only resentment, injustice, loss. Her mom's death was called an accident. She's not convinced. Grieving, she becomes numb to everything except the constant biting pain of heartbreak and hate. Until she meets James Kelly, a man who seems to be as damaged as she is inside and out. And yet, despite his twisted, cold facade, he stimulates feelings, pleasure. He is a respite from her own flaws, a complete mystery, and impossible to resist. James Kelly has only one objective: find the men who murdered his family and killed them all very slowly. But the web of crime and deceit leads him to Bo Haley, the daughter of the notorious FBI agent who pursued him relentlessly until her death. Bo is not what James expected. In the past, the darkness that shrouds her, he finds a glimmer of light. Anyways, I won't read anymore, but she left her fiance. He's on a revenge kick, leads to her, and they must fall in love, kiss and fall in love. I don't know, but yeah, but I believe it's Mafia if the FBI was after him. The Brit was Mafia. So Unlawful Men, Mafia. And that gets one off of my summer TBR, and I have incorporated that in my hardest reading challenge as well, in the color, every color of the alphabet, rainbow, I forget. Anyways, so let me put this back in the, that's 8. Disturbing. All right. Put this back in. Ugh. 3 of diamonds. Has a prologue. Okay. Okay. I found Black River Orchard by Chuck Wendig. I recently got this in a book haul. I think it's posted. Anyways, I read The Book of Accidents by Chuck Wendig and I enjoyed it. So I got another one. This is about a small town somewheres, and it starts growing these beautiful apples. They're so red, they're almost black, but when you eat them, they're the most delicious apple you've ever eaten. And you almost get addicted to them. And when you eat them, you feel so good and you become a better person. You're nicer, you're more productive, you're more everything you could ever hope for. However, this whole town eventually gets wind of these apples and they're all doing it and everybody's hunky-dory and lovely and this is the best thing ever. But as the season dies out, the apples don't flourish. And what happens when they don't get their fix? Because they have a compulsion to keep eating these apples and there are no more. Where do the roots to these trees come from? What is down lurking in the depths of the earth? There must be something. This would be supernatural too, actually. I don't know. But this one, however, I ordered a book secondhand from Lausanne. If this is what this is, I think it is. I wanted to read this for Summerween. This has, I can't think of what else it would be. Alright. Ta-da! Tommyknockers by Stephen King. I have the VHS of this movie up in my attic. I have a VHS lounge up there. Gabby from Gabby Reads is doing Summerween. I did Winterween for the first time this past winter. Summerween is you read horror thriller for a week or something. I read that anyways. However, on the little logos that she has, here's a couple pictures. The prompts that are for this thing, it doesn't specifically say sci-fi, horror, or anything like that. But since her little picture had an alien spaceship in the sky, I thought I'd like to read something. And this came to mind because I remember this being, or the movie anyways, I think it's about a spaceship that crashes in the woods and in this town, and eventually it's stumbled upon and things start to go a little crazy. They try to keep it a secret, but it doesn't stay secret for long. And people are actually physically affected by this spaceship or some sort of foreign object that crashed in the local woods. That's all I remember, I swear. That's really it. Anyways, there he is. I'm sure most of you know who Stephen King is. I could read this, but I don't want to. I would like to go into it blind. This might be one. I need to see if there's a prologue. John, happy 29th birthday. Love ya, always. BJ and Lou. Oh, it was somebody's birthday present. Well, I'll take good care of it. I don't know why I'm getting all excited about this. I plan on reading this anyways. I'm not seeing a dang prologue. Gosh darn it. No. It goes right to book 1. Let me just see after that. No. No. So anything before that is just, that's not a prologue. To Tabitha King. Yeah. Well, I want to read this anyways. I do. So this will be the one. I'm sure I have shorter books that have prologues. However, I want to try to read recent purchases too, because I have a habit. When I do buy books, I don't get to read them for a couple of years down the road because I'm too busy reading. And that's not a bad thing, but I really just got this book. This I'm hoping to read too, if I can get it on my thing. But there, Chuck Wendig. That's it. All right. So we still need to do 2 more draws. I need to put something up on there. Billionaire. Now, as I've gotten older, I don't care for billionaire romances as much as I used to. I am not a fan of friggin' billionaires. Nobody should be a billionaire. However, they're just books, and I have some. They're just stories. They're not real billionaires. However, I don't know. I go through phases. I might read romance for like 2 or 3 months straight. Not a single horror in sight. But now I'm more on a horror kick for the most part. All right. 3. Do I have the 3 of clubs? So a mystery. Okay. All right. I'm having a hard time. The only mystery one that I can find that I think is a mystery is this, Trick or Treat Murder, but I bought this at up the road from me. A guy sells books out of his house, like a used book place, and I'm not feeling that. Trick or Treat Murder. It'd be a cute little thing around Halloween. I mean, I could read it, but I just know I won't prioritize it. I have some thrillers here, and they might be mystery. I don't know. The Passengers by John Mars. This is about fancy cars that drive themselves, but people that are driving, all of a sudden they're locked in their cars, and the cars won't stop unless they do something or something. I'm not sure. But this would be the 3rd John Mars book that I read. I don't know. I was thinking another Karen Slaughter, but they're big. I don't think I'll do that this go around, but I do like Karen Slaughter a lot, so I don't know why I picked that up. Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinbrough. I have this book. My son, my eldest son, he lives out west, but he called me. They watched, I guess this is a movie. I mean, a book first, but they watched the movie and they really liked it. And I said, oh, I think I have that book. I said, I'll read that book sometime and then I'll watch the movie. I don't know what it's about. I have no idea, and I would like to keep it that way. Same with Lisa Jewell, The Invisible Girl. Haven't read either one of these ladies. No idea. Oh, I don't know. This is a pretty cover, and I do have this on my hardest reading challenge. I know it's not technically a mystery. I can't think of any other ones. Like, I don't read a lot of thriller, for one. I certainly have more thriller than I do mystery. Lucy Foley was mystery to me, and, well, that John Mars one, maybe not so much mystery, more thrillerish. I don't know. It left you wondering the whole book. I think I'll just do Lisa Jewell, The Invisible Girl. This follows a computer science teacher that gets suspended from work for allegations, sexual allegations. I just briefly read the inside thing. And this teacher, he lives on a street, obviously, but then it follows the people that live across the street from him. This family, husband and wife, I think the mother's a physiotherapist, the father's a child psychologist, and then they have 2 children. And they've always felt a little weird about their neighbor across the street. That's it. I don't see how that pertains to Invisible Girl. I don't know. So I'm just going to put this one on. That's the best I can do. I mean, I could do that, but I just know I wouldn't read it. I know I wouldn't read it. So, mystery goes in the honey pot. That's something I have to rectify and get some more mysteries. So, if any of you know some good, crazy, dark, insane mysteries, let me know. I didn't mind Lucy Foley. Like, I'm going to donate her books. I enjoyed. This one was called The Hunting Party. The first book I read was The Guest List. I like The Hunting Party better than The Guest List. ugly cover. That's very subjective, isn't it? What I think is ugly is probably what a lot of people think is beautiful, honestly. All right. So we're on our 10th book. One more. Another random number. All right, so there's 136, remember. So do I still have that up? I do. All right, excellent. Good. 68. What's 68? Dan Simmons, A Winter Haunting. Ew, that goes out of the order that I don't want to. So what I would do is do the other one, which would be Children of the Night. Because my original plan was to read Summer of Night, then Fires of Eden in the summer TBR, and the Children of Night and the Winter Haunting in my next winter fall time. I'm going to veto this because I really don't want to throw that off. That would be, I'm sorry. I'm not a big veto person, but I am going to veto this one. All right, let's try. I do want to read that book really bad, but it's a whole other project, personal goal challenge I'm doing. 26. All right. A.L. Jackson. This is for my, my favorite prompt from the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do from last year. I didn't take part in that, but she has a bingo board of what the prompts were from last year. And I picked, read a 4+ book series. I believe that's what it is. So I picked a series on my Audible that, no, that's not, gosh, last 10 years. Yeah, favorite book prompt. So this is the bingo board from last year, and I picked a 4+ book. No, just a minute. That might not be the right one. Did I label that wrong? Because that's Lisa. I don't think I updated this. For goodness sakes. I didn't update this. Crying out loud. So the favorite book prompt is what it is, but over on the master list, I didn't update my my personal spreadsheet. So it landed on this prompt, so it's this series, not the A.L. Jackson series. Okay, so it's Lisa Ladu, Ladu, I don't know. I read book 1 and 2, but so I'll be on book 3, One True Mate, book 3. I have it on audio, and they're shifter romances, law enforcement shifters, and they protect humans from bad things, and their love interests are often part angel. So, but I enjoy the bit of shifter romance and things like that. It just takes me out of the crazy of reality. So, yeah. So that One True Mate, book 3. So, oh, I gotta stop this recording. Jeepers creepers. Yeah, I got to rectify that. Alright, I don't have to put anything back on the board because it was one of those. I didn't get, well, I have one more left. Nope. Sit up here. I probably will not read all of these books because I have other books that I'm reading too. But it's fun to pick this and to strive for. And what I can do on Audible or Audio, Everand, whatnot, different programs I'm going to do. And Six of Hearts. A TBR vet. Okay, well that is so many. That will go in here. Six of Hearts. 1. A vet is anything older than, well, people say a year, but a vet for me would be, I know what I'm going to pick. I know what I'm going to pick. I'm picking this bad boy right here. This is Telto's book 3 in the Mayfair Witches series. I read The Witching Hour, February maybe. I read Lasher. I don't know if it was last month or the month before. This is book 3. I'm so excited to read this. This is the 3rd book in the series. In the Vampire Chronicles, book 5 and 6, I think there's crossover with the Mayfair Witches world, but I'm assuming not the, like if you look up on their website, this is the first 3 books is the series. It's just in the same world as Interview with the Vampire series in a couple of books. However, and I plan on reading all of that series sometime. But this is the last book in the trilogy. I've had this book for years, like 25 years, so long. This follows the Mayfair Witches family, and in the first book, The Witching Hour, you get a whole genealogical look at the whole generations upon generations upon generations upon generations of these strong women, or not so strong women, going through the different time periods. And this demon entity attaches himself to one woman in particular in this family each generation. And he helps her, he loves her, he hates her, he does terrible things, but he loves her. His ultimate goal is for his own selfish self, because he wants to become tangible himself. And he wants to be able to go into the body of a baby and be born and be an actual living being. And horrible, horrible things. Some of the women in this family do have some powers. It's not like the double toil and trouble kind of witches. They're different sorts of witches at different degrees and powers, depending on their lineage, depending on their blood, depending on the incest sometimes. This whole series, there's some very triggering things depending on who you are and if you read this kind of book. They're very dense. They're very small print, but I am so excited to read this book and finish this series. I've loved it. The first book, it was a while to get into because it's a chunker. This book has 563 pages. But if I can get this on audio, if not, I know I will commit to this book because I have been wanting to read this since I was done Lasher. So excited. And it's certainly a vet. So, that one. Alright, was that 11? I think it was 11. Did I not keep track of that right? Okay, there's one more thing I want to do. I'm going to set up another screen recording because I want to do my spinner wheel for the hardest reading challenge. Not that I'm going to read all the books on the prompts. I have all the prompts on a spinner wheel. But if I happen to want to deviate from my TBR, I can focus on that. I have to remember though, too, there's not enough time to read all the books you want to read. I want to read all the books. Like, I really do. I'm really excited about all of them. And yeah, anyways, so here you can see the wheel. It's pastel-y color. This has all the prompts of the hardest reading challenge you're ever going to do on the website. I will put all her information down below. I do have a video coming out the first week of July of my version of the spreadsheet, but let's roll this. I don't know why this doesn't make a noise. The last 10 years. Okay. All right, I can handle that. So we'll go over to the last 10 years and these books. The Unrequited by Saffron Kent, Nordic King by Karina Halley, Bad Saint by Monica James, Mallory by Josh Mallerman. I have that for the Summerween too, so I might end up reading that. Sweet Cruelty by Zoe Blake, Lust by Readathons, They All Died Screaming by Christopher Triana, The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim, and Alice's Descent into Madness by Al Radin. So if I have any spare time in between these books, because this is a priority too, these are ones I can pick from. Not officially on my TBR, but out of all the prompts, this is the one that I'm gonna do. Okay, let me pick a new one for that for next time, and then we'll sign off, and I can start organizing my reading plan for next month. I'm not going to start any of these because I still need to finish Zoe's book, Set in the Present. And I have other things going on, but there. Ugh. That recording's still going. Ugh. No, is it? It is still going. I'm an idiot. All right. So, this is a ridiculous amount of books. Ridiculous. I'm going to have to go into town here in a bit to go get one of my girls from her exam. And then I have The Little Prince, which is a child's book, classic, and Don't Say and The Taming the Tiger. There's one more. That's audio. One or two more. When I go back to look at this video, I will. I'll do it. But there. So, yeah, that's a pretty hefty, ambitious, but what I can do in audio, I will. I'm not going to go spend money, but if it's available or if it's on sale, I might. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Summer is going to be a high priority audio time because I am busy. I have a house full of kids and it's summer and things are a little more haywire. And I'll be like in the woods a lot of the time too. So Yeah, anyways, with that, I'm going to say peace, love, and happiness today and every single day. Please like, share, and subscribe if you so choose, but if not, that's okay too. I still love ya. I still want all the happiness in the world for each and every one of you out there. I certainly do. I really, really honest and truly do. Yes, I do. So, okay, guys, with that, I'm going to say have a good night or have a good morning, and I will see you next time. Bye.